How you feeling?
I'm okay.
I just wanted to call to say I'm sorry I'm running a little bit late, but I'm on my way to pick you up.
That's okay.
Okay, well, I'm headed that way. I'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Okay, awesome. Should I bring snacks or no?
Yes.
Okay, I'm bringing snacks. Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye. I'm about to pick up Rita Burkholder. I'm just waiting on her to get into the van. Oh, here she is.
Hey!
Rita!
Since we're both off the hooch, I brought us some booch.
We're both off the hooch.
So we're drinking the booch. Yay!
Oh, well, lucky for you, I have...
Oh, very handy dandy. I like that. Nice. Wait, do you want honeysuckle or do you want ginger?
I want ginger.
You want the spice?
Is that what you want? Are you cool
No,
with
I'm
whatever?
fine. I'm good with whatever. I'm good with anything.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm. Tasty, tasty.
That's so good.
Rita,
What?
why don't you tell us what's going on in your life in the next 3 months?
Yeah, I'm leaving May 13th and I'm going to Warsaw, Indiana to the Wagon Wheel Theater where I am a costume shop manager for their summer stock. So it means that I run the costume shop and coordinate all the costumes and we like fit them all to the actors, and if they don't fit we alter them or repair them, or sometimes we have to make a brand new thing. So last year I made a whole headless monster suit, like a businessman's suit in psychedelic colors.
Wow.
It was really fun. Made a whole harness and everything, and they did a tap dance routine. It was pretty cool. So yeah, I'll have like 3 or 4 people working underneath me. I like to say working with me, but you know, hierarchical structures.
You don't believe in hierarchies.
I hate hierarchies. I can't stand them.
Okay, but tell me about, like, you've been in costuming as long as I've known you. How did you get your start with doing stuff like that?
Sure. Well, I got my start at Lehigh Magnet School back in 1987, and Ron Harris was the theater teacher over there. I wasn't in any of his classes, but I would skip my algebra class to go to the theater class and sit in. So we watched Cats and Les Mis and all that stuff on VHS. And then I helped make costumes and paint sets and stuff. And then it was really cool because we were baby punks, my 2 friends and I, and he would let us borrow anything we wanted from the costume closet.
Wow.
And we were all like really skinny at the time. But what was great was I could wear all the stuff from like the 1920s or the 40s. So I was always wearing like a velvet dress or a men's jacket or something like that. When I turned 18, I left. Foolishly got married so that I could go to college. Like, he wanted to get out of the barracks. I wanted to go to college. He was like, we're friends, let's get married. They'll pay for your college and I can get out of the barracks.
Yeah, a little convenience marriage.
I was like, yeah, let's do it. Okay. He wanted to come back to Huntsville. I don't know why. I wanted to go somewhere else. But we came back here, and then Ron Harris was like, oh, you're back in town. Can you costume the Marquee de Sade for me? Because they were doing Marquee de Sade over at Huntsville High, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. And he's like, okay, I need 40 peasant outfits out of muslin, like matching top and knickers or matching top and skirts.
Yeah.
I need a couple of corsets, and then I need like 20 straight jackets out of canvas. And I was like, got it, I can do it. And so
challenge accepted.
I started, I think it was like the 3rd costume in, and my sewing machine broke, and so I sewed that entire show on a non-electric late 1800s Singer treadle sewing machine
With your foot?
with my foot. So I
Pumping?
was like this.
Wow, that's
sewing
badass.
all the costumes. So yeah.
Last night at open mic night, you were wearing the shirt that you made with eyeballs on the back
Oh,
of
yeah.
on your back, and you have the song I Have Eyeballs in the Back of My Heart.
Yeah, I've grown eyes in the back of my heart.
I love when musicians, songwriters, mostly because I do this, I love putting parts of my songs into my clothing or apparel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
It brings another like dimension to the song.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not like art imitating life, imitating art, imitating.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
That's so much fun. So you started playing, I think when you were 32, playing ukulele?
Yeah, 32. But I feel like when I started playing music, it was just kind of the right mix and the right time in Huntsville to kind of get into a thing. There weren't a lot of women performing on the scene. Dawn Osborne was doing a bunch of open mics. Amy McCarley was doing some like open mics and stuff. So it was kind of like the 3 of us at the time. But no, I feel like it was a good time, and it was really creative. There were a lot of like front porch hangs and jams and stuff, and living room hangs and jams with a few people, and jams at the Low Mill. Then I had house shows and stuff, and so I just kind of like got into it.
You've been so much a part of something that people don't know about Rita is that most of the stuff that we enjoy here in Huntsville now that has to do with art, she's touched in some way, or her friends touched. They started back then doing these kinds of things, and they have morphed into more things, and it's because of what the work that y'all did. What is it kind of like to know that the work that you have done has fostered an art community? I mean, I can say that I do what I do almost in part because I saw that you did it when I was a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, you really have been such a big part of this place becoming what it is as far as in the arts. And what is that like?
I don't know. Well, first of all, that's a very nice compliment. Thank you. It always feels weird to hear that. I don't know. I mean, I've had people express that sentiment to me. Like, we feel that you're like a big deal in the community as far as like what you started or done or things like that. And I never really thought about it like that. I always thought about it like, Huntsville doesn't have this thing that I want, so I'm going to make it, right?
Yes.
Or like other friends were inspired, I want to do this thing, but I'm not quite sure how to move forward. Well, let's do this. And we brainstorm. I'm a big brainstormer, but I like finding ideas. So I'll sit and complain about something all day long. But if we can't, in the end, find a solution, then I have to move on to something else, right? Because we can complain about stuff all day long, and I've definitely been a big complainer about some stuff in Huntsville, because there's a lot to complain about here. I do feel that Huntsville is at risk for... If Huntsville cannot adjust and be more progressive in its arts and music, I do feel that it will fall flat.
I agree.
If people don't start paying artists and musicians their value and what they're worth, and act and put on their... Huntsville needs to... The Huntsville art and music scene, here we go. Y'all need to put on your big girl panties, okay?
Well, they need to put their money where their mouth is.
If you're hiring a musician and you've asked them to set aside a Friday, Saturday, Sunday to play a show, and it gets rained or snowed or iced out, you are obligated ethically to pay them. Because a true business model is going to say, you know what, at some point we're going to have loss. So let's build that into our budget, right?
The thing about Huntsville, I feel like right now, is they are so preoccupied with image, but saying we're so great, look at us, give us money, pay $4 for water, come see a show.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work. And I will say that the Huntsville Music Office has done a good job, but they have the MAP program where they'll give you money to tour. If you live in Huntsville, they will give you a grant so that you can get gas, feed yourself, and maybe get a hotel on tour.
Ooh, I didn't know that because I'm going on tour in October.
You should submit your dates.
Maybe I should.
To, yes, Jackie, who works with Matt Mandrella at the music office. They're great people. They want to make this place a music city, and they do understand the bigger picture. It's the people who are in town that don't really understand what it takes to be... The music industry at large is in a huge transition. I don't mean to, like, totally take away this interview from you.
It's fine.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, I'm just saying, like, everything that you've done in Huntsville, especially for people like me, is, like, advocate for artists, call people out when they're not being sincere, hold people accountable, and you're such a champion of the arts. And you have a activist spirit.
Gassing me up over here.
You have an activist spirit, and it has inspired me to also kind of carry the torch and be like the other the generational representation of people who were like, listen, kid, you need to be getting paid well. Listen, kid, that's not cool.
Right.
I remember times where you've told me, like, Wanda, that's not cool. They're not allowed to do that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, if any club owners ever had beef with me, it's because of this woman, because she taught me how to stand up for myself.
Well, I mean, and you should, because, I mean, you know, the guys do it. The male musicians do it. I mean, I've watched guys get into fistfights because bars in town didn't want to pay them. And you know what? They had them back. Okay, a couple of things. Annie Leibovitz has this really great documentary. I think it's Annie Leibovitz. I think it is. Yeah, anyway, she says this great phrase. There's like a huge diorama of New York City down below them, right? And they're looking at it. It's in this warehouse. It's really incredible. And she says, You know what? Everybody's walking around New York. They're like this. They're like this. They're in their phones. You know, you can't see anything. Stuff dropping on their head. They're bumping into people. Like, pretend it's a city. And I'm like, I feel like Huntsville should pretend that it's a city. And I think there's a bit of a disconnect between the local government, right? Who's like enticing people to come here for the development, the money and all of that. And they're like, oh, but we can bring money in, you know, we can bring in community building from, you know, developers from Nashville and da-da-da. And it's like everyone's getting their cut except for the people providing the flavor here. And that's very frustrating to me. And I think that we are worth it. The value is there, you know, but I also think that as a musician and an artist that you have to advocate for yourself. Don't be like, oh, it's illegal, but if I say something, I'll get fired. Say something. Mm-hmm. Get fired. You can find another job where they're not doing that. And so you have to, I'm getting all loud. You have to advocate for yourself, knowing that when you advocate for yourself and for others, there are a couple of things about that. The first thing is, when you're outspoken and you hold people accountable, and people like to say, oh, you're calling me out. No, I'm holding you accountable. I am holding you to the standard that you should be operating by. And so I'm holding you accountable. That's not a call out. That's a, hey man, this is unethical. And I'm not cool with it. And I don't want to play if you're not going to play fair or right. And when you value yourself truly, it's a very lonely place. And you will often feel like you don't have friends or people don't actually like you. And you might not get invited to stuff. You might not be asked back to things.
You're really selling me on standing up for myself. I want to do it now all the time.
But it's okay because... But here's the thing. When you value yourself and you advocate for yourself and when you advocate for others, what you're doing is you're setting a standard not just for yourself, but across the board in arts and music. And I think that more people need to do that here in Huntsville. I think more people in Huntsville need to pretend like it's a city and value their artists and musicians. And I've been trying to make art and music here for 21 years. I've done a lot of cool things that I love, that other people have enjoyed, and people still come up to me, oh, I remember your library, that was such a cool hangout, you know, when there was nowhere for mixed ages to go, there was nowhere for teenagers to hang out, and we had the Burning Nun, you know, and I have ideas that are bigger than what Huntsville can sustain at the moment. You know, and I think there are quite a number of artists here that feel the same way. I do think that Huntsville needs to work harder at actually supporting the artists that it has, because it's bleeding artists. And
it is.
And I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just trying to be pragmatic, you know?
No, yeah.
And I'm gonna leave, so I finally made the decision, what, about a week ago?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my God. Me trying to force things to work when I'm no longer meant to be here.
Yeah.
Has stifled me. It's paralyzed me. And so now I've looked at this disappointment as actually permission to embrace doing what I want to do. And I wish only the best for Huntsville, but it is not for me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, anyway, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think I'm like a big deal. I put everything I've got into the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I've met a lot of amazing, wonderful people that I've collaborated with. But I've also watched a lot of them get tired of putting in the effort and not getting anything back, and they just kind of stay in their houses now. Yeah. And it's really unfortunate, because in the 80s, there was a real weirdo vibe and a weirdo flavor to Huntsville, and it's kind of going away. Things are kind of flattening out, becoming kind of homogenous, you know?
I mean, we're definitely not going to be as weird if you leave.
All right, well, I have a present for you.
What is it?
It's something I made, something I found, and something I sought out.
Ah, wait, is this the thing you made?
That's the thing I made.
What?
So I went to the Mountain Valley Pipeline protest puppet workshop in Virginia in December, and this artist made these really great little patch designs. And then this is, I found this little red heart. It says, "My heart is in Berlin." So that's a little heart pin. And then this one is a pickle. I'm a big fan of the pickle.
Look at this pickle, you guys.
I'm a fan of the pickle, and I love pins. Oh, and speaking of which, if you don't have this one, what are you even doing?
Show them your pin. Incredible. She made this pin, just so you guys know.
I did.
I love that.
It was pretty cute.
Rita, thank you for being on my podcast.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Just give me a hug. love you.
I love you too. Best of wishes wherever you land.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Tell me, did you find it deep inside of her? Did she make your dreams come true? I'm done with men. I've had enough of them. Give them all your body, money, mind, and soul. It ain't